Well, treating infertility is big business, and often it is targeted towards women. But one startup is working to change that. Legacy is a male fertility startup from Khaled Kteily, who has recently raised as much as $50 million and backed by Y Combinator, Bain Capital Ventures, including some celebrities like Justin Bieber and The Weeknd. Joining me now is the founder and the CEO of Legacy. Thanks so much, Khaled, for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Amber.
So let's first start, define the problem. You think about fertility, going to IVF. I've got friends, girlfriends who have struggled with this, and it does seem like it's mainly for women, right, that we're dealing with their issues. So how did you identify this problem?
Yeah, we are taught in biology class that fertility is a women's issue. That is a point of view that is outdated and wrong. In fact, fertility is both a 50-50 male and female issue. And so when you dig into the numbers, infertility is not a niche problem. It affects about 1 in 6 couples globally. And when you dig into the male side, well, turns out sperm counts have plummeted 50% over the past few decades. And in fact, men, as they get older, build up DNA damage in their sperm that leads to things like infertility, like miscarriage, or even the risk of having a child born with autism.
So when a traditional fertility clinic that the women are going to, I know they also test men, aren't they set up to deal with this?
The incentives for a fertility clinic are absolutely at odds with testing the male partner. Fertility clinics prefer to send a couple straight to IVF. The reality is, though, in a world where infertility is just as likely to be caused by a male partner, we should actually be starting by testing, conducting a semen analysis, and that's how you will address some of the root causes of infertility.
There must be a lot of stigma around this. I don't think we've used words like a sperm and semen on BNN before. So how willing are men to even admit this is the problem?
Yeah. I'll start by saying we are the largest male fertility clinic in the United States. We've had tens of thousands of patients. On any given day, we are handling more than 10x the volume of a traditional fertility clinic. And so the existing market, again, this affects about 1 in 6 couples. This is not a niche problem. So the existing market is already quite large. But for us, by offering a mail-in solution, we've unlocked a new market of men who would never go to a clinic, but absolutely would do it from home.
So this is a pre-IVF solution.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about the fundraising.
Sure.
I mean, insane sort of lineup that I think anybody would like to have backing. Y Combinator, Bain, all these celebrities. How did that come about?
Yeah. So we're certainly fortunate to have a deep bench of existing investors. We're very excited by the business model for a number of reasons, but fundamentally they see the winds blowing in this industry, which is infertility is a greater problem than ever before. There's increasing research, including our own research, showing just how much of an issue male fertility is. And actually, I'll share from our most recent fundraise, we were in the fortunate position where an algorithmically driven VC reached out to us. They said, hey, we've looked at billions of data points across thousands of startups, and our algorithm identified Legacy as being among the most likely of becoming a unicorn in the next 5 years. And as a result, this kicked off a fundraising process for us that they were heavily involved in.
You're based in New York, but you've got Canadian roots. You fled Lebanon as a refugee, can I say it, as a refugee, to Montreal.
Yeah.
Why didn't you start it in Canada?
Yeah, so a proud Canadian. I actually started my business career here. I studied business at McGill. I actually worked right down the street here in Toronto in consulting for many years. But I knew that to build a consumer health-oriented company in North America, New York is the epicenter for anything consumer. Of course, the US market is a little bit larger, but also Americans are more accustomed to paying out of pocket, to doing cash pay for tiers of healthcare. And when you're building a new category the way that we are, we wanted to be the leader in the space, and we knew New York would be the right place to build this. I will just add one more thing, which is we will be live in Canada by the end of next year. I'm very excited about that.
So you plan to expand here. I'm curious about the election and how you're thinking about it. IVF, fertility, women's bodies has come up in the election. And does that alter your growth prospects depending who's in the office?
Right. I mean, the election is a pivotal one. Over the past year, I've watched the Biden administration invest significant funding and resources towards women's health and women's fertility, and that is extraordinarily important. At the same time, I would love to see more policies focused on the male side of the equation. Again, as I mentioned, it is a 50-50 issue. And so former President Trump, who has said he is the father of IVF, now if I zoom in on just this one issue, if he wants to implement policies to make IVF more affordable, more accessible for the average American, I think that's terrific. And as a company that already works with the U.S. government, and in particular the U.S. military, we look forward to working with the upcoming administration on policies for both male and female sides of this.